Well, good afternoon, and it is afternoon because we are gearing up for dinner in just a little bit. And this is the third in our series of videos on how we use our food storage for meals. And today I am so excited to share this with you because I did not realize how versatile this is until I started making it and thinking about it just a little bit more. We are going to do a sweet and sour meal today, but you'll notice that the title is Sweet and Sour Meals, plural. And so there are variations in the recipe that you can turn this into 5 or 6 different meals with the same basic sauce. Now, just as a reminder, the recipe, these are my recipes, and I am putting them in our recipe section. The direct link to get right to the recipes and this food storage meals link is the top on the list of several other things that are there. And this will be Food Storage Meals 3, because this is our third recipe. The other 2 recipes are already in the document, so we're adding this one as the third one. And you can simply download and print those out and add them to a variety of books that we have written, and the list of the books will be down below. And this one is even very appropriate to go in the protein bowl book as well as the others that we have listed before. So what about sweet and sour sauce? As I was doing the research for this, I looked at a lot of different recipes, and there are tons of recipes of sweet and sour sauce. And I thought, you know, this can be so confusing because there's one sweet and sour recipe for Hawaiian meatballs and another one for pork chunks and another one for chicken. And as I looked at the ingredients are very similar. So I sort of put a few things together and came up with a sweet and sour sauce that I think is a wonderful, basic sweet and sour sauce that you can take a ton of different directions. And they all of those ingredients are from our level 1 food storage, and here they are. So today for the sauce, we're going to be using sugar, brown sugar, cornstarch, and I'm using white wine vinegar, but you can use regular white vinegar, soy sauce, ketchup, and that's the sauce. And once you make the sauce and cook it and thicken it up, you can use just the sauce very plain for dipping egg rolls, for instance, or for dipping vegetables, or for dipping whatever you want, or to put it over. You could even put it over ice cream if you wanted to do that. Then we have some add-ins, and I love these add-ins. We're going to be adding in pineapple and mandarin oranges, and these are some of our freeze-dried sweet peppers, and that helps give the sweet and sour more balance. Now, we have a video on how to do these freeze-dried sweet peppers, and I'll link that video to the end of this video so you can check that out if you wish. If you don't have these available, then just use a regular sweet pepper of any color, it doesn't even matter. Or you could skip it entirely. So it is negotiable, whatever you want to put in as the add-ins, then try it out. And then there are options for adding some protein. Now today we're going to use one of our frozen packs of chicken chunks, and these were packaged in August of last year, so they are 6 months old. And so these are just great. This is rotisserie chicken that we cut up and put in these little serving size baggies. So convenient. But also out in our food storage, I have pints of pork chunks that could be used, or beef chunks, or I have some frozen ham chunks that could also be used. You can also use canned chicken or canned ham, or whatever you want, or you can skip the meat protein altogether and just have it without the meat protein, because it's plenty good even just without the meat in it as well. Now for our meal today, we're going to be putting it over rice. Now, I have, several days ago, I did a batch of steamed rice in my new combi oven, and we're doing videos on our combi oven. I will put a link to what is a combi oven if you don't know what that is. Our video on that also at the end of this video. And I just do a big batch of rice, and then I put it in these jars, and put them in the fridge because it is so handy to have rice already cooked for a myriad of meals that we use during the week. And so we're going to be using the rest of this rice to put our sweet and sour chicken over the top of. And then we will also be serving it with a side of steamed broccoli that I am going to do in our combi oven. So let's get busy on the sauce. So I have the sugar ready to go. It's a half a cup of white sugar and a quarter of a cup of brown sugar, and I'm just dumping everything in this saucepan. It's a fourth a cup of pineapple juice. Now, rather than opening this can, we have in our food storage, we buy by the case lot pineapple and mandarin oranges. But I've already opened one, and I have it in this jar. So we're going to, we need a fourth of a cup of the pineapple juice. So I'm going to use the juice that's here. And put it in. And then a third of a cup of white vinegar. So I'm going to finish up 1 jar of this white wine vinegar. And then top it off. So there's a third of a cup. And you can already see that this is going to be both sweet and sour. And it's very tangy. Jim and I just love how this turned out. Okay, and then we're going to do a fourth of a cup of soy sauce. Two tablespoons of cornstarch. And last of all, we are going to do a quarter of a cup of ketchup. Okay, now we're going to whisk this together. And if you want to ensure that there are no lumps, you can always add, when you add the white sugar, you can add the cornstarch and whisk the cornstarch and sugar together, and then there won't be any lumps of the cornstarch floating. But I think I got them all. Now we're going to go over here to the stove and put this on and bring it to a boil until it thickens, and we'll bring you over when it's about done. So this is now boiling, and it has thickened. It's beautiful. So I'm going to turn it way down. It's now down to 2, and we're going to come back and add our fruit. So I have drained the pineapple and the mandarin oranges, so they're going in. And while we were off camera, I put a half a cup of our peppers in to rehydrate, and I'm going to drain them and add them as well. So see how beautiful this is now that we have these add-ins in it. So the sauce is completely done now. We just need to wait for the fruit to warm up. And while the fruit is warming up, we also can add the chicken so it can warm up as well. And so all we're doing now is just warming up these add-ins. So that small amount of sauce has now turned into a meal for 4 right here when we put our add-ins in. And it is gorgeous, and it is just delicious. So we are going to put the lid on this and let it stay very low. It's at 2. And we're going to come back and show you what else we're going to be doing. So we have 2 things to heat up before we can eat our sweet and sour chicken. So first of all, I'm just going to spray. This was frozen broccoli florets we buy these in little packets. It comes in a big bag, and I think it has 3 smaller packages inside of it of broccoli florets from Costco, and every one of those little packets serves 4 people. So we already ate half of it. I'd kept the other half frozen, and so I just now thawed it, and it is now ready to go into the combi oven. And I have a recipe that I'm going to use that is called steam roasted broccoli. So I'm going to start the preheating, and so the oven is going. And as soon as it gets up to preheat, I will put this in the combi oven, and then it's going to take about 10 minutes to get the broccoli ready, and it's going to take about 10 minutes to warm everything through and through here. And then it will take the rice about 3 minutes to steam. And so we will come back when everything is done and we're ready to plate it up. So our broccoli just came out of the oven, and I'm just putting a little bit of fresh lemon juice on it. It's steam roasted, and so it has a little bit of char on it, which is exactly what we want. And then here's a little bit of Parmesan Romano cheese to go over the top. Ooh, it's smelling, you know, like broccoli and cheese. Okay, that's enough. And we have our steamed rice. Oh. That is very, very hot. And we'll dish up 2 servings of this. And then put the broccoli to the side. This is a very nutrient-dense meal. The chicken gives us lots of protein. And then for the last, here comes the sweet and sour. Oh, look at that.
Looks nice, very nice.
It really does, doesn't it?
Yes.
And here's yours, honey.
Okay.
You tell me when.
Right there is fine.
Enough?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I'm going to give you a couple more chicken chunks.
Okay.
Okay. So, here is our lovely sweet and sour meal. It hardly took any effort on my part at all. And we were finished in about 25 minutes, so it's very fast to get everything done. So I'm going to just take a little bite. We've tasted this before. We already know how wonderful it is. But you should probably see it on my face. So I have a little pineapple and a pepper. It is just fantastic. I'm going to take a little bite of the broccoli too. The lemon juice with the cheese is perfect. It just gives it a very nice lift. So I hope that you try this very, very versatile sweet and sour recipe. And if you come up with more ways to do it and more ways to fix a meal using it, please put it in the comments so that we can share. We love our community for the way that we share with one another, the way we learn from one another. This is just a great place to learn lots of things. And we have had a lot of really positive response to this series on food storage meals. One person said, I just look at my food stored on the shelves and I don't know what I need to do with it. And so that's why we're doing this, is to give you some ideas, to pique your curiosity. Once you get going, you'd be surprised how quickly you are going to be very creative and come up with things on your own as well. So let's all share what we do, and we will see you very soon with more videos.